Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. A lot has been happening in Nigeria, and between the southern part and the northern part, and the north have decided to open up to tell Nigerians, especially the southerners, that it's not as if they don't know what is going on, but they have decided to make this bold and make it known. Before we go to the newspaper to find out what even the senators are saying, like you subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, the former Nasarawa State Governor and Senator representing Nasarawa West, Abdullahi Adamu, has, in an interview with Sunday Sun, warned that no one should complain should the North begin to retaliate the killings and damages suffered by Northerners living in the South. Adamu said that Northerners living in the South have suffered injustice, while Southerners living in the North enjoy the benefits without being attacked. He, however, added that moves by southern governors to ban open grazing without providing alternatives and also doing nothing about the killings of northerners in the south could come at a heavy cost, as southerners living in the north could end up paying the price. That sounds more like a threat, but let's continue. He said while the governors pretend to be against the breaking of the country, their action speaks otherwise. They, southern governors, are sounding like a broken record. You know what a broken record does? It cracks. He said while condemning the decision of 17 southern governors to ban open grazing, I expected them to be more educated. As an educated people with responsibility of governance, each of those governors is under an oath for loyalty, for preservation of the sovereignty of this country. That means every one of them is duty bound to stay away from any act or words that have the tendency of being perceived as being a separatist. I was a governor for 8 years. I know what governors forum is. I headed it for 5 years of my right years. Before that, I was chairman of Northern Governors Forum. So the secretariat you see and the bureaucracy, I set them up during my time. Adamu added, before the Asaba Accord, there was a meeting of all the state governors. About 36 of them were there. Less than a week of that meeting, some people came out and claimed Southern Governors Forum. There's nothing wrong with regional bodies. But these governors know the constitution, and they know that every Nigerian has the right of movement and association, a right to pursue legitimate goals. These governors are saying no cattle or open grazing. What is the alternative? Have they provided any? If northern governors come together and take a position, what will happen? What right have you to tell Nigerians not to move freely? It's chaos, Nigerians. It's chaos, Nigerians. Let's continue. If northern groups say no southern business in the area, how would that end up? That there are killings of northerners going on in the south. If the north decides to retaliate, we will call it genocide. What is happening to us? We only know about problems, but not solutions. People are openly calling for a breakup of the country. The ban was also condemned by the national president of Miti Allah Kutuhore, Abdullahi Bello Bodejo, who insisted that herdsmen have the constitutional right to graze anywhere in the country, and made it clear that the only thing that will stop herdsmen from grazing in any part of the country is lack of grass. Otherwise, they will continue to graze and nothing would happen. Nothing is actually happening, truly, my brother. While speaking on ban on open grazing declared by southern governors, he said, we are going to follow the law and see how to approach some good leaders in the southeast, the southwest, and the south-south. We will also approach the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies to protect our people. It is not about grazing. It's a plan against Fulani people. Some people want to hijack the cattle business from us. Anywhere you go now, you see Fulani grazing cows and you think they belong to them. No, the cows belong to some people in that area or community. If you go to Benue, the state that first promulgated the anti-open grazing law, you can see cows grazing. Their owners are thief people. Even the governor, Samuel Othom, has many cows. They want to chase us away and continue with our business. What these southern governors are trying to do, some other African countries tried it, but it didn't work. So this one will not be an exception. You can't just wake up without a plan B and say you have banned open grazing. This business has history. We didn't just wake up and start cow rearing. It is a blessing from God. It is God that blesses us with this business. It is not like farming or palm wine tapping business. This is from the beginning. The only thing is how to transform the business. These governors are confused. They are trying to deny Fulani their rights and their means of livelihood. Nigeria has only one constitution, which the governors are bridging. We may approach the court to stop them from carrying out their plans. The process by which they arrived at the decision was wrong. They were supposed to have invited us because we are part of their various states. If you are a governor, you're a governor for everybody living in that state. Since we live in other states doing our businesses, it behoved on them to have invited us to the meeting. I don't know who is giving them this idea. No state can progress without Fulani being in that state. That's a tall one. Any state without Fulani is backward and poor. Are you serious? This is a very strong one. Okay. No states. So Fulanis are they're in Dallas, Texas. Fulanis are they're everywhere, right? This is comic, really. It's very comic. But let's continue anyway. Fulani being in that state, any state without Fulani is backward and poor. Fulani attract blessing. They don't have problem, but unfortunately, people attribute kidnapping, robbery, and banditry to them. It is not fair. They have not seen that people killing police and other security personnel. How many police stations have Fulani burned? How many people have Fulani killed? But they want to tamper with the business God has blessed us with. The governors are very wrong. So when asked, this is getting very serious. When two southern governors are determined to execute the recent ban, he said, "I say it categorically that this ban on open grazing by the southern governors will never work. The only thing that can stop us from grazing in any area is if there is no grasses and water in such places. Fulani does not have borders of boundaries. They don't need permission to graze their cows from one area to another area." This is really inciting. There's no law, no constitution prohibiting them from doing so. So Fulanis are educated and they believe in leadership. They follow the constitution, which permits them internationally to graze anywhere. ECOWAS permits us to graze anywhere. But any person that commits a crime, let the law of the land be visited upon such a person, he added. This one is tall. This one is big. You guys have heard what he said, both Bodejo and Abdullahi. But we're going to take like 2 or 3 comments. This is this is so not right. Honestly, the way this thing is going, can imagine. Yes, I understand the fact that he said something quite unique. Nobody should nobody should actually go after any non-nice. Wrong. They have the right to life. Everyone have a right to life. But you see that issue of the Fulanis grazing on a cultivated land, on the same way the cows are important to the Fulanis, is the same way the crops are important to the farmer. No one is above the other. Now, saying that the governors say there shouldn't be open grazing, that reminds me of what the Hitchbed did. Broke all the bottles, alcoholic drinks of the southerners doing business in the north. Is that also in the constitution of Nigeria? It wasn't. Did the southerners, rain fire and brimstone? They didn't. It's their law of their state. They all understood it, and that should also be same should be applied also in the south. Nigerians are already getting very angry. We'll take like 1 or 2, and I guess we'll wrap it up there. This one here is saying South is not even retaliating but only defending themselves. And how many northerners have been hurt? I mean, how many Fulanis have been killed because the real killings are being done in the north? Adamu's threat is a blackmail to force the south to accept open grazing. Fulanis think this is 1967 when they caused trouble and tried to fight the Igbos. Is it Igbos that are killing northerners in Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Kaduna, Benue, Yoruba land? No, it's Fulanis. Everybody knows that these victims won't be killing Igbos to please Adamu and his Fulani tribesmen. They will fight Fulanis to defend themselves. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up. Let's